Well, I'm thrilled and delighted to be here with actress, author, maybe a pot farmer, jack of all trades, Heather Donahue. Heather, how are you? Welcome to Psychobabble.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I got to confess, I just picked up the book, so I'm only about 50 pages into it, but already I'm impressed with your writing.
Thank
you have
you.
some formal training or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I've been writing my whole life.
Okay.
Writing, making herbal medicines, acting, like all of these things have been.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I picked it up, a celebrity book, and I'm reading, no, she's a good writer, and you're telling your story without being self-indulgent. I don't know if that makes sense.
Thank you. That's one of the harder parts of memoir, which of course starts with me.
Yeah.
And I teach memoir writing as well.
Oh, really?
And so that has been, one of the workshops that I do is called Beyond Self-Absorption, Memoir 1. Yeah. Like
Wow.
how do you, if you dig deep enough into your own experience and vulnerably enough into your own experience, you hit actually this kind of critical mass where it stops being as self-indulgent as it could be.
Well, I will say that I would not want to have a girlfriend who writes like you do, because the guys in your book, they come off on the surface as nice guys, but you're able to see through their bullshit, and I've had girlfriends that could see through my bullshit before. It's a little annoying.
It's disconcerting.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
like,
I know,
how can I lie to this chick?
Right, you can't.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Oh,
it really
man.
kind of ruins the romance.
Yeah, it really does.
Romance really is a castle of lies.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sentimental, Heather.
I know, I am, yeah.
Well, now, and 50 pages in, one thing I was surprised by that I didn't know, I should have known, how annoying it would be to be constantly referred to as the girl from the Blair Witch Project.
It's not annoying. I mean, I'm here, aren't I, at
Yes.
this Days of the Dead horror convention. Now I just find it sort of surreal because it is so distant from my everyday life and what I do. But when people ask about it, it's neither good nor bad. It's just big.
Okay.
It was just this huge weird thing that happened in my life, and I'm really grateful for it in a lot of senses, because by being able to be on the Tonight Show and the cover of Newsweek and all this stuff when I was 24, I was able to move on from acting in a way that I felt good about, because there were so many other things I wanted to do with my life, and that's a great job for your 20s. But then as I was getting into my 30s, I was like, I really want to try something different, and then that's when I shed the entire LA life and moved to the country and became a marijuana grower.
Now, so are you done with acting completely?
Oh, yeah, I left acting in 2007.
Okay, I know, but never gonna go back, never gonna do community theater,
Probably
Bye Bye Birdie,
not. It's
anything?
weird, like I don't miss it.
Okay.
Like I really don't. It's strange.
You don't need validation from a group of strangers?
No, I actually don't.
That's a little maladjusted there, Heather.
But you know what I love going and doing readings of the book. I love doing in-store demos for my beauty line. Like I love doing that. Like that makes me happy. I like the interact. I love the gregarious part of performing.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't miss. I like having my own story back.
Good
You know
for
what
you.
I mean? Like
Good for you. Yeah.
that was kind of a big part of why I wanted to write the book. And a big part of why I kind of didn't want Blair Witch Project to end up on the cover, because it's not what the book is about at all.
Yeah.
But of course, like your publisher wants they think that will sell more books.
Right. Well, you haven't given up writing. You're going to put more books out.
Oh no, I'm working on a novel right now that's an erotic black comedy about a trio of cancer researchers.
Well, what's funnier than cancer, and what's more erotic?
Exactly, right?
That's great.
It's the subtitle is Love and Other Malignancies.
Nice.
Yes.
And target date for that?
I'm really busy with Pretty Well for the holiday season.
Okay.
Because I just launched that business this year.
Well, tell us what Pretty Well is.
Pretty Well is my organic beauty line. It's something I developed, and it's a business that I launched earlier this year in the spring.
Okay.
In my hometown of Rough and Ready, California, which is a lot like it sounds, actually.
Really?
So we have 5 products now. We have an organic lube called Hump, which is delicious.
Whatever happened to subtlety, Heather?
It had, well, I like the product. Each of the products has a 4-letter word for its name.
Nice.
It's very clear what they are. Feed is to feed your face.
Okay.
Lift is to lift both your spirits and your skin.
Okay.
And then we have Mojo, which is a tincture for getting your mojo back. It has 3 of the world's most powerful adaptogenic herbs in it. And we have Buff, which is there to exfoliate, tighten, and cleanse your face.
Okay, and organic beauty products. I mean, for someone like me, who's a little leery of that title, I'm worried that it might contain pig urine or something really nasty that's organic.
No. Your face is like, your pores are like, there's like a million tiny little mouths on your face, right?
I'll say.
So why would you put anything into those little mouths that you wouldn't put into your big one?
All right, that's wow.
You could eat any of Pretty Well's products. Not all of them would be delicious, although I will say Hump and Mojo are very tasty.
Nice.
The other ones you might not want to eat.
Okay, well, let's talk about Grow Girl. So now, again, the synopsis, essentially, leave show business, move to Northern California, become a pot farmer.
True.
Are we still a pot farmer?
No.
Oh.
I figured when I wrote the book and then published with a big house, it was probably not very sensible for me to
Where could we find
carry
her?
on with a federally illegal activity. Of would put something of a target on my back. So
you really did throw yourself into the process, though. I mean, you're talking about learning, and this is not just a case of throwing some seeds in the dirt.
Not at all.
It's hydroponics and lights.
I was not a hydro grower. I was a soil grower, but I did have an indoor garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it become, again, I'm only 50 pages in, did it become a profitable enterprise?
No, it's not. It's a non-for-profit business in California, so you can only grow for the patients that are in your co-op.
The patients in your co-op, okay. And highlights, lowlights?
Highlights were, the thing that I miss about it, and I really do miss it, is it's such a responsive plant, and you can tell that we've been co-evolving with this plant for so many thousands of years because it is possible to have a conversation with this plant. With all plants, I feel like there's a lot of listening involved in gardening, but I felt with this plant especially because it was just so responsive. Like when you flip it into flower, you move it onto a 12-12 light cycle, 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark, which is about mimicking the time that it would start to bloom in nature. They just start stretching. You can go in there and they'll be 3 inches taller than they were the night before. Yeah, and it's amazing because this plant has such a life force, and you're there kind of directing it, and so it's like this dance that you do, and everything you do, there's a response. Everything you do.
Well, I would refer to it as more like parenting.
In a way, with your little and they were my girls. Like in the book, I call them my girls because all the plants that are used for medical marijuana are female. So these were like my little green daughters.
And these girls demand attention. You couldn't just leave for a couple weeks and come back.
A couple weeks, you can't even leave for a weekend.
Yeah.
And not make sure they're taken care of. No, it's a high maintenance.
It's a job.
It's a job for sure. Yeah. But it's a really satisfying and beautiful job.
Okay, but you're not doing it anymore. There must have been some downside.
The downside is the stress.
Okay.
The anxiety,
doing illegal activity, or
what was so interesting to me about telling the story of this is that it occupies this weird space that nothing else does.
Okay.
In California, I was totally state legal. My grow was completely state legal.
All right.
But it's still federally illegal. Yeah. So you're in this weird space, and like you would see towns where like this is a huge economic driver, and it's a huge economic driver nationally. This crop. This is the biggest American cash crop. It is the biggest American cash crop, and by far. It's actually, if you combine soy and corn, I forget what the exact stat is, but it's something like 5 times the profit of soy and corn combined.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
Okay.
It's incredible when you think about it.
The hypocrisy is incredible.
The hypocrisy is and always has been incredible.
Yeah.
Just now, people are starting to do science because of the state medical legality.
Okay.
So you'll have, say there's a program at UCSF in San Francisco about kids with epilepsy, because there are a lot of different components to cannabis, and CBD is like one of the components, like THC. It's one of the cannabinoids, and high CBD strains have actually shown amazing efficacy on reducing the symptoms of epilepsy in children, and it's non-psychoactive. CBD is non-psychoactive, so you can actually do a tincture of a high CBD strain like Harlequin, give it to a kid with epilepsy, and reduce their seizures with no side effects.
Yeah, unlike Dilantin.
Amazing. Or even like a ketosis diet, like they have to put some kids with epilepsy on. That's like a super high maintenance thing, and works for a period of time and then stops working. Yeah. Wow. So it's cool. So it's really. There's a whole way of signaling in the brain that's strictly for our endocannabinoids So it actually goes in the reverse direction of all the other neurotransmitters.
Okay.
And they don't know why, because we can't do federal science, we can't fund a project from the NIH
Yes.
because it's federally illegal,
Yes.
which is crazy.
Bizarre. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. Well, speaking of bizarre, again, we mentioned that we're here at the Days of the Dead Horror Convention. And the fans, while mostly benign, they are fans, fanatical.
Yeah.
And I saw yesterday some very nice people approaching you with seemed like folk art based on the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, people make amazing stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
And it is cool. It's got to be odd for you, though. I mean, you're connected to that, obviously, but you don't strike me as someone who collects that stuff.
Not at all.
No.
No, my dad did for a while, and I was like, "Can you please take that off the walls?" Like,
Yeah.
And he was like, "But I'm so proud," and I was just like, "Oh." But every time I come up for Christmas, I was like,
Yeah. It could be worse. I mean, it could be your 6th grade picture with braces and all that crap.
Well, in a way, I'd almost rather have it be that. Do you know what I mean? Because
Okay. Because that's real.
Well, because that's not I don't have such mixed feelings about that.
All right,
like,
okay.
I see my 6th grade stuff with only fondness, like,
Right,
way to go.
Right.
Tough journey ahead, but I think you can do it, kid, But whereas Blair Witch was more, I was much more conflicted about it.
Yeah. And not, it was out of your control. I mean, once it became released,
Which is a great lesson to learn at 24.
Okay.
Which is an amazing life lesson.
Yeah.
That nothing is in your control.
Right.
It is.
Right.
Good luck. Learn ease, because nothing is in your control.
Without going too dark, what's the strangest fan encounter you've had?
I guess it was really early on, like getting run off the road, like getting car chased.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. That was unpleasant weird.
Okay.
Super pleasant weird was getting, it wasn't weird at all, it was just really lovely. We were in Germany last weekend, and I met the guy who's been running my German website for the last 8 years. So nice, like
Just
such
that
a sweet
phrase,
guy.
my German website.
I know, right?
That should be your next book.
I mean, just such a sweet guy, really nice.
Cool.
He and his boyfriend came out, and just to meet me, and I was like, that's real. He's like, we're not even really into the horror genre. We just love you. And I was like,
Oh, that's neat.
That's really sweet.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the hype when it first came out was that people didn't know if it was real or if you were dead or alive.
Right.
Were there people who were surprised to find you alive?
There are people that came here this weekend who thought we were dead, and so I was really struggling to figure out the logic of me signing a photograph for them.
Oh, wow.
What a spiral.
Now I noticed one of your co-stars is here, Mike.
Yes.
One of them isn't Josh. Have you been tempted to tell people when they ask where Josh is? Didn't you see the movie?
Oh, no. I like to tell them that he's isolated on a special island off the coast of British Columbia with a terrible case of herpes. It has actually spread now from his genitals to his face. And so before, when it was just on his genitalia, it was actually easy for him to still come to the cons. But now that it's just like everywhere, it's best that he stays on the island.
I think the people who love you in Germany don't know you very well, Heather. She's nasty. Oh, but we do have a gift for you,
You
Heather.
do? What is it?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's regifting. This is from Pipestone, Minnesota. You ever been to Pipestone, Minnesota?
I haven't, no.
It's about the size of this room.
I do love Minnesota, though.
And they do dig up pipe. And there's a pipe for you.
Oh, my goodness,
wrapped in an
thank
animal.
you.
See, it was a gift to me, but I don't smoke.
Oh, that is
And
beautiful,
it's an actual Native
and it
American
comes with a
artifact.
fur.
Yeah,
Hell,
isn't that soft?
Could there be a better afternoon?
That's not weed in there.
No,
I don't know what's in there.
I think it looks like sage, actually. It
Oh,
looks
there
like
you
a
go.
piece.
So you can do a
Herbalist. I don't know.
cleansing.
What do you want?
Oh, so
That
anyway,
is-
we want you to enjoy
Oh,
that.
that's delightful. I'm planning my next Sunday already. That is just wonderful. Hi, I'm Heather Donahue, and you're watching Psychobabble TV.